There's been a lot of buzz swirling around Micah Parsons lately, and for good reason. The star linebacker's contract situation with the Dallas Cowboys has become one of the hottest topics in football circles, and it's easy to see why. Parsons, one of the league's most dynamic defenders, is still without a finalized deal, and the timing of everything has fans, analysts, and insiders all waiting on the edge of their seats. Recently, reports surfaced that Parsons did not board the team's flight to Oxnard, California, which sparked even more speculation about where things stand. However, it's important to note he wasn't alone in that. Several players took separate flights or had already arrived early for various reasons. For example, Overshown was reportedly in Oxnard ahead of the team, preparing himself for the upcoming training camp. Despite the flight situation, the expectation remains that Parsons will report on time to the camp. What's still very unclear is how much he'll participate once he's there. This uncertainty fuels a lot of questions and concern, especially since fans want to see him fully engaged on the field. Even more pressing, though, is the question of when his long-anticipated contract extension will finally be signed. The Cowboys and Parsons camp have been negotiating for weeks, some would say months, but the deal still hasn't been finalized. From all the information available, the contract itself isn't expected to be an outlandish or complicated one. Yet the timing of when the team will actually call his agent and seal the deal remains frustratingly unknown. It's not just about Parsons either. The landscape of defensive player contracts in the NFL is shifting rapidly, and there aren't many big deals left to sign among edge rushers and linebackers of this caliber. The only major name still waiting in the wings appears to be Jaden Hutchinson, a younger defender expected to command more than even T.J. Watt considering his age and potential. That creates a clear sense of urgency for the Cowboys. If they want to keep pace with the league's top players, they need to act fast. But so far, it seems like urgency is not the approach the Cowboys are taking. They've been criticized for dragging their feet, and that has only fueled speculation and frustration among fans and insiders alike. To put the situation in perspective, T.J. Watt, who plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers, just signed a massive contract that makes him the highest-paid non-quarterback defender in the NFL, earning a whopping $14 million per year. That's an enormous benchmark, and it's already been known for a while that Watt would outturn other stars like Jamar Chase. But now Watt's deal has set the bar so high that whoever signs with the Cowboys next, including Parsons, will have to meet or beat that number to stay competitive. For T.J. Watt, the guaranteed money in his 3-year deal is particularly impressive. It shows how much teams are willing to invest in elite defensive talent. So when Parsons finally signs, which many agree will happen eventually, it's going to set a new standard in terms of pay and guaranteed money. But the fact that it's taking this long is testing the patience of the Cowboys fan base. Everyone expected this to be a done deal weeks ago, and the wait has been a bit of a headache for those closely following the team. On the flip side, it's important to recognize that Parsons hasn't been holding out or causing drama. He's been showing up, training hard, and demonstrating the kind of leadership the Cowboys have been asking for all offseason. They wanted him to step up as a leader, and by all accounts, he's doing exactly that. What remains to be seen is whether he'll be holding back at all in training camp. Parsons is known to be a football addict, someone who loves the game and wants to be on the field as much as possible. That kind of passion is exactly what teams want from their top players. But given the contract limbo and the potential risk of injury, it wouldn't be surprising if the Cowboys limit his workload during the early stages of camp. Everyone will be watching closely when training starts, and we'll get a clearer picture then about how involved Parsons will be day to day. The big question is, will he participate fully, or will his reps be managed carefully to keep him healthy while negotiations wrap up? That answer will likely come very soon, and it will be a key indicator of how the relationship between Parsons and the Cowboys is progressing. In the meantime, the conversation about Parsons' contract is a perfect example of the modern NFL's high-stakes business side. Star players like him are not only vital on the field, but also represent significant financial and strategic investments for teams. The Cowboys are known for trying to balance their budget while keeping their core players happy, and Parsons sits at the center of that balancing act. How they handle this contract situation will have ripple effects across the roster and could set the tone for how other key players approach their negotiations in the future. Beyond the dollars and contract details, there's also the bigger picture about what Parsons means to the Cowboys' defense. He's been a game changer since he arrived, redefining the linebacker position with his speed, versatility, and relentless motor. Having him locked in with a long-term deal would not only stabilize the defense, but send a strong message that the Cowboys are committed to building a championship-caliber team around him. That's why fans are so eager for this to get resolved. They want to see Parsons fully committed and focused on football, not distracted by contract drama. At the same time, the Cowboys' slow pace has opened the door for comparisons with other teams, especially those who have quickly locked up their stars. It puts additional pressure on the front office to get this right. They don't want Parsons feeling undervalued or overlooked, because the NFL landscape is highly competitive, and player loyalty can be fragile. The stakes couldn't be higher. So while we wait for the official announcement, all eyes will remain on Oxnard to see how Parsons approaches training camp. Will he show up ready to dominate every snap, or will he be held back? While negotiations continue, whatever happens, it's clear this saga is far from over, and it's shaping up to be one of the most talked about stories of the NFL offseason. Fans, analysts, and the team itself all know that how this contract ends will have major implications for the Cowboys' future and Parsons' legacy in Dallas. Moving away from Micah Parsons for a moment, the Cowboys have been busy preparing for training camp with a series of workouts involving potential edge rushers trying to make their mark. These aren't headline-grabbing names yet, but they're important pieces in the larger puzzle, as Dallas looks to build depth on the roster. Among those working out for the team were 3 edge rushers who have caught some attention. Jesse Luzette, a product of Penn State, stands out for a few reasons. Not only did he share the college field with Parsons, forming a friendship during their time there, but he also has some NFL experience under his belt. Luzette was a 7th-round pick by the Arizona Cardinals and spent his entire career with them before not being resigned this year. He's seen real game action, which is a huge plus when evaluating players on the fringe of making a roster. His ability to play as a hybrid off-ball edge rusher makes him an intriguing candidate, especially given his familiarity with the kind of schemes Parsons thrives in. Then there's Cameron Clean, a bigger-bodied edge player listed at 6 feet 4 inches and 203 pounds. Clean's NFL resume isn't as extensive. He originally came through the Colts system and has bounced around practice squads with the Bills and the Jets. Despite limited playing time, his size and physicality give him potential, especially for roles that require setting a strong edge or providing run support. Finally, James Houston is probably the most noteworthy name on the list, at least when it comes to on-field production. In 2020, Houston flashed real pass rushing ability, racking up 8 sacks in just 7 games. That kind of impact in a rotational role is hard to ignore. However, Houston's momentum was halted by injuries, limiting him to only 2 games in 2023 and very little action in 2024 so far. His ability to return to that form is a big question mark, but the Cowboys are clearly willing to take a closer look in hopes of recapturing that burst. These workouts are part of a larger trend for the Cowboys, as they sift through the bottom of the roster to find diamonds in the rough. Players like these edge rushers might not be household names, but they represent the kind of depth and developmental talent teams need to stay competitive. The grind of the NFL isn't just about the stars, it's also about finding players who can step up when injuries happen and keep the team rolling. For fans wondering how many of these names they recognize, it's understandable if the answer is 0 or 1. These guys are fighting for roster spots, and only a few will make it to the final cuts. Still, keeping an eye on their progress gives a glimpse into the team's potential moves as camp unfolds. Switching gears, there's been some chatter recently regarding Jaden Blue, the rookie running back the Cowboys drafted, and some pretty controversial claims have surfaced. Over the weekend, a former Cowboys coach, someone who was very low on the coaching staff decades ago, threw out some harsh words about Blue's work ethic and attitude. He suggested the current Cowboys staff isn't thrilled with Blue and hinted that the young running back might be borderline lazy, not showing up for workouts, and not fully embracing the team culture. These are serious accusations, especially coming from someone with prior connections to the organization, albeit from a long time ago. It quickly became clear that the coach was referring to Blue, not another running back on the roster, because he specifically mentioned Texas, where Blue played college football. What makes this even more complicated is that these comments were made by someone who hasn't been around the team in 25 years. That raises questions about the accuracy and fairness of the claims. Players, especially rookies like Blue, often have limited time with the team early on. Many veterans and new players train separately once they organize team activities, and many camps wrap up heading to individual workouts or training facilities to prepare for the season. This is standard practice, so it doesn't necessarily mean a player is slacking off or lacking commitment. Moreover, pre-draft scouting reports on Blue already noted some concerns about his professionalism and readiness for the NFL grind. Scouts mentioned he needed time to develop his work ethic and to adjust to the demands of professional football. Jaden Blue just turned 21 years old, which means he was only 20 when he was playing college football last season. Immaturity at that age is common and often expected, so it isn't a huge red flag in itself. Blue himself responded to the negative reports on social media, calling the article fake and created purely for attention. His response shows a young player aware of the pressures but willing to fight back against misinformation. When training camp gets underway, all eyes will be on Blue to see how he handles the transition and whether he can prove the doubters wrong. Early impressions can be misleading, and it's far too soon to write him off based on second-hand claims. The Cowboys, like any team, need to give rookies time to adapt and grow into their roles. The limited time Blue has spent with the full team so far means coaches haven't had a real chance to evaluate him closely in the context of team practices and game planning. The real test will come when camp kicks off and he has a chance to showcase his skills, commitment, and how he fits within the offensive system. For now, the cautious approach is to reserve judgment and allow Blue to prove himself on the field and in meetings. Now shifting to some more positive news from the Cowboys camp, there's been an encouraging update regarding Overshown. He's a player many fans have been eager to see back on the field after dealing with injuries. Recently, Overshown shared on his social media that he received good news from the doctors and that he's expected to be active this season. That's a huge relief for the team and fans alike. Overshown was already in Oxnard ahead of the team's arrival, and this update suggests his recovery is progressing well, with the medical staff optimistic about his return timeline. While the exact timing of his return remains uncertain, a reasonable estimate could place his comeback around Thanksgiving. That would align with typical recovery schedules for the type of injury he's dealing with, allowing him to rejoin the team in the second half of the season. It's critical, though, that the Cowboys don't rush him back too soon. Overshown is a valuable piece of the defense when healthy, and the priority has to be his long-term wellness rather than a short-term boost. Protecting him from the temptation to push the hard too early could be key to ensuring he has a lasting impact once he's back. In the 13 games he played last season, Overshown showed flashes of what he can bring to the field. His athleticism, playmaking ability, and tenacity stood out, making him a promising contributor when healthy. Having him return to form would bolster the Cowboys' defense and provide much-needed depth on the edge. His progress will be closely monitored, but the update is definitely a step in the right direction and a positive sign for the team's outlook this year. Between the workouts, rookie stories like Jaden Blue's, and encouraging recovery news from players like Overshown, the Cowboys are entering training camp with a mix of challenges and optimism. The roster battles will be fierce and every player is under the microscope. Fans will be watching not only the stars but also the newcomers and depth players to see who steps up and who struggles to adapt to the demands of the NFL. As camp gets underway, it will be fascinating to see how all these storylines develop. Will Micah Parsons finally sign that long-awaited contract and dominate on the field? Can Jaden Blue shake off the early criticism and emerge as a reliable weapon in the backfield? Will Overshown return healthy and provide the defensive spark the Cowboys need? And what about those lesser-known edge rushers trying to earn a spot? Will any surprise us with a breakout performance? All these questions hang in the balance, making this offseason one of the most compelling in recent memory for Dallas. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In a stunning twist that's sending shockwaves through the NFL, rumors are swirling that Joe Burrow, the star quarterback known for his precision and poise, could be making a jaw-dropping move to the Dallas Cowboys. While nothing has been confirmed officially, whispers around the league suggest that Burrow's potential signing with the Cowboys might be imminent, an event that could revolutionize the NFL landscape in ways few predicted. Joe Burrow, who has been a rising force with the Cincinnati Bengals, has dazzled fans with his ability to read defenses and deliver under pressure. His skill set has made him one of the most exciting quarterbacks in the league, and the idea of him leading America's team is already sparking intense debate. Could the Cowboys, a franchise hungry for a quarterback of Burrow's caliber, finally have found their missing piece? Insiders say the timing might be perfect for a blockbuster deal, and the Cowboys front office is reportedly eager to shake up their roster to chase a Super Bowl. Sources close to the situation hint at intense negotiations behind closed doors, with Dallas seeing Burrow as the ultimate franchise quarterback to elevate their offense. The potential move has fans and analysts speculating wildly. Would Burrow's presence transform the Cowboys into immediate title contenders? And how would this shift affect the Bengals, who have built much of their recent success around their young star? While the Cowboys have had their share of quarterback controversies in recent years, Burrow's rumored arrival might settle the long-standing debate about the team's signal caller. The combination of his sharp arm and calm leadership could mesh perfectly with Dallas's talented receiving corps, creating an offense that's both dynamic and relentless. Meanwhile, the Bengals would face a challenging offseason trying to fill a void that few quarterbacks can replace. Despite the excitement, some caution prevails. The NFL is no stranger to high-profile rumors that never fully materialize, and both teams remain tight-lipped about the supposed deal, yet the buzz is undeniable. If Burrow does join the Cowboys, it could mark one of the most significant shifts in NFL history, changing the balance of power and rewriting the storylines of the coming seasons. For now, fans are left on the edge of their seats, eagerly awaiting official word and imagining what might be a thrilling new chapter for Joe Burrow and the Dallas Cowboys. The NFL offseason has never looked so electrifying. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.